Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, we are done with all of this showers tile, and we have done a preliminary wipe down to get the grout into all of the kind of grooves like you want in between the tiles. But all this dust, we kind of figure we'll just use the new wand we're going to be putting into the shower to rinse it all down. So what I'm going to show you today is how to put on your trim kit for a shower. Now this is a shower and tub and also a transfer switch for the wand. So if you're familiar with Bonnie and I's shower, when I put those in, I made it so that the wand wasn't a transfer, so that it couldn't be either or, it was both if I wanted them. And so that required two different valves. This is the entire trim kit laid out so that we can kind of go through it piece by piece and put it on the wall. But one of the things I want to show you is these little vials of grease. This is your best friend when it comes to putting these in. And when the instructions tell you to grease a fitting before you do it, you have to do that or else you are going to fight it and cause problems. And then it also helps with the long-term seal of all of your shower products. The first piece I want to put on is the tub filler. This is a copper L that is actually soldered straight into the valve system. Back in the day, you used to have to cut this and then you would solder on threads and then you would screw this guy on until it fit. But nowadays they have these cool fittings which have a rubber O-ring and a gasket, and so all you have to do is cut this. So you don't need a plumber who can solder all of your parts together to put this guy on. So all you need really is a cutting tool, and these are pretty cheap, these little guys, and I do recommend the little guy for this because the big ones I have may not make a full circle around this. Get it set on there and then start spinning and turning a little tighter each revolution. Sometimes you'll go two in between, but you'll feel it as you go. And you want to use one of these cutters because it will give you the cleanest. There we go. Now we have a really clean cut, but since this has got paint spray on it, we really want to polish this up so that the rubber gasket that slides over sits on this as clean as possible as well. So you can use just about anything to clean this. A lot of plumbers like to carry some kind of a sandpaper or sand tape with them, but just a good abrasive rag and just getting it cleaned back up to that nice fresh copper is all we really need it to be. I did double check and look and see that I have grease around that O-ring. If it didn't look like I did, I would definitely want to put some in there, but we've got plenty in, and that helps keep that O-ring healthy for a long time and helps with the seal. So you just slide it right on, just like so, and then we'll tighten it up with our Allen wrench. The only bad part about doing finish work is you have limited space. You have to be gentle, but it does have to be secure. The next step is your trim out kit, and most of the time on your trim out kit it will have an up stamped in somewhere so you know which direction needs to be face up for a reason. If you look on this, this has a grommet all the way around that seals it and a grommet around the valve that seals it, but it has what we call a weep hole at the bottom, and you want that at the bottom so that if water does get in, it can get a way out. The key to keeping a house waterproof is allowing water out when it does get in, not just trapping it. So if it doesn't say up on it, make sure your weep hole is pointing down, and depending on how your bracket has to go together, add all the parts. And I will say one last little note. If your screws that come with it are not long enough, you do need to go get new ones, and that's okay. Make sure they're stainless steel. Anything in a bathroom or water area needs to be stainless steel so it's got the longest longevity. We're working with finished product now, so driving it home as hard as you can is just no bueno. Finesse, finesse, finesse. When it comes to all your plumbing fixtures, I have a strict policy of Teflon tape, and you have to go the same way you would thread on the nut. So you're going with the thread, so when you screw this on, it actually stays on. If you do it the opposite way, it will undo. So do it the proper way, and then just to solidify things, a little bit of pipe dope as well, and that goes on the same direction also. I feel like with Teflon and pipe dope, it is pretty darn leak proof. Don't forget to put your shroud on first. This one luckily made it the bend, but sometimes they won't. Straight up and down. Okay.
Needs to go this way, just like a pinch.
Back.
Like just less, just that way, just like. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll do the same thing to this one, but I don't pipe dope this one just because it gets a little goopy, and where this is showing, I'm not as concerned. But the one behind the wall, we definitely need sealed tight.
Could sure wrap that well.
Sure do. Now I know at this stage a lot of people are going to try and grab their plumber's pipes or channel locks. Anything that's a plier, do not use on finished trim anywhere. Crescent wrench only, because it's fixed and it won't mar the finish, or at least it will mar it the least. We have to drill for the bar that holds the wand for this shower, and everything else was pre-laid out and put in, but I did put backing behind these, but it's not quite all the way down here. So I do know I have backing behind that tile, so I'm gonna at least secure that tile. But when it comes to drilling tiles, you really have to be careful. A regular drill bit won't work, and you're really prone to shattering these tiles, especially ceramic tiles. They can shatter with the wrong pinch. So I found these cool drill bits. They're a diamond boring drill bit. They're not outrageously expensive either, and they last a long time. And so these just drill nice and smooth into this. It's not aggressive or fast. Takes them out of, or it moves slow enough that it's not going to break the tile if you don't put pressure on it, but you do have to have a steady hand and just really take your time. One thing that I found is to start at an angle and let it just kind of grab some teeth there. There's a lot of commotion in the house right now because we literally just moved in, and in order for us to shower tomorrow, this bathroom has to be done. So we've got to get this done very quick, but all of the hard work has been done. I've gone ahead and drilled these, and you guys saw that, and now we can actually mount this bracket in. And that is a pro tip, is never fully seat a screw if another screw has to go into that same part. It just saves you so much trouble just getting them both started first. And here's a little pro tip as well. If you have one of these button systems that moves up and down, I felt like it made more sense to put the button on the bottom. It doesn't say whether to or not in the instructions, but to me it made sense to have any opening area dripping down. If water comes down and gets into there, it'll at least come back out. But if not the other way, it has to just stay up in there. So I put the button facing down. And I am being very temperate with these tiles, especially because if it's a ceramic coated tile, this is technically like a glass now, and it's very thin, very soft. The tile may not break, but this outer crust or glass will, and it'll chip and flake really easy like you've seen in some of my tile work videos. So be very temperament. Remember the 3 F's, finesse, finesse, and finesse. I think a lot of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory in the instructions, but the tips I want to give you are just a few that I have. One of the last ones that I really want to push is this grease. This comes with it, and I think a lot of people probably just don't think to even use it. One, it's for greasing the O-rings if they aren't already greased. But two, this little cover that slides over this valve set has a hard time going on without it. You hear it, and it doesn't seal as well. And it sits on an O-ring that's in there that is not greased. So you take this little tube, cut it so it's just slightly open like that, and then you just put a small bead all the way around the inside. Can't tell if we're already there or not. There we go. Then this guy can slide in a lot easier. There we go. Same thing on this trim out. This is your finished trim as your kind of seal plate, is that little opening always goes to the bottom. So if you're not sure this one doesn't have a direction, just look, opening to the bottom.
I can't see a thing.
No, let me get one started.
Okay, okay.
Same thing on this, just nice and snug, firm. You don't gotta lock this thing down like a lug nut on a car. This next one, same principle, has the little notch that goes in the bottom. So we know that goes down, and also you know that hot will always be on the left hand and cold will be on the right hand. That is how it's supposed to be. This one just snaps on, no screws. But before I close it off, I want to show you this little gray ring right here. This actually has a purpose in your valve. You push this down and that turns your water on, swing it, hot or cold. But that little gray ring will determine how much hot water you're going to allow. It's a safety feature, so if you need to limit the hot water, you can adjust it back so that when it gets all the way hot, it won't be at the 120 degrees that you typically will keep your household hot water at. It'll be a little bit less. It's just a way to protect a child from being scalded. So if this is a kid's bathroom, you can definitely set that at a lower temperature if you want.
Scolded or scalded?
Depends on what they did wrong. These ones are just so simple. Okay, never mind. The other ones upstairs went on like a champ, so hold on, I just need 2 hands. I'm trying to do this with too much in my hands. Okay.
Oh, my.
Good heavens. Put it on, push it all the way back, and then tighten it on. Last piece of at least your faucet trim out system is the wand, and I put on this piece first. Then I bring the hose, and how it lays, or how I want it to lay, is how I try to get it set loosely, because once you tighten it, this hose will kind of bind a little bit. So I let it lay the way I want, loosely get this guy fit on there. And if you just go to squeeze this tight, you're going to bind that. So hold your hose the way you want it. Then tighten this guy up. And it allows your hose to sit the way you want it to. Hopefully you guys have learned a few tips and tricks on installing your shower trim out kit. If you learned something in today's video, comment down below what you didn't know. If there's something you know that I don't and I should have known, please comment that as well. I like learning from you. Also, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you don't want to miss out on any of the videos in our new home series for this new house, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Someone went through my vocals out.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I'm like, you're just pretty still. You're boring me.
No. No, say less.